Greetings everybody, welcome back to Smartwatch Tics. We are unboxing a 4G LTE smartwatch today, and if you read the description of this, it has a beyond edge-to-edge screen. What? What is that? Well, you're about to find out, but first we've got to unbox it. So, it comes nicely packed here with a leather band. Oh, combination leather and TPU. Look at that. So it's got the sweat-capable backing, but leather on the outside. Microphone. There's where you put your SIM card. The heart rate thing is here. Little recessed area for the charger. We'll talk about that in a minute. We've got a camera on the side and one button. The bands are not removable, although they're very flexible. But there's actually antennas running in here, so you're not going to be able to pop the the bands out, and it's not, I would not call it waterproof. You don't want to get this thing dunked underwater. Probably can get some splashing on it, but that's about it. Oh, the box? Sure, but first, before I show you what else comes with it, let's talk about it. This is really fun. This is RUNDOING. This is their own creation. This is the RUNDOING R360 and full Android, 1 GB of RAM and 16 GB storage, which is kind of a sweet spot, I think. Oh, this is their AliExpress store, and check down below for a link and a discount coupon, hopefully, for you. 7.1.1. This is what's impressive, 1.6 inch. You know, most of our screens are 1.39 inches. This is a little larger, 1.6 inch screen. The compromise for that are two things. It's not an AMOLED screen, 400 by 400. As you'll see in the specs, it's a little smaller resolution for a bigger screen. And it has a little flat tire in it. I know. It's not that noticeable, though. You get used to it over time. But it does have a little black section at the bottom. You'll see when we turn it on. Spec-wise, it's RUNDOING. These are all the different things, features it does, which are standard Android 7.1.1 apps, as we've seen before. No, it does not do Bluetooth calling. None of these watches that are in the Android 7 level do. Only a few Android 5.1 and now Android 6. Some of those watches do Bluetooth calling. 320 by 320. Now, for my estimation, that is the lowest screen resolution you should ever go for Android. We've seen 240 by 240. In fact, a recent review of one shows what a mess you can get into because you just can't see everything in the apps. 320 by 320 is bare minimum. 360 is good, which I kind of thought, being it was called the 360, that it might be that. And 400 by 400, of course, is the standard on most of these. We have a 2-megapixel camera. They're honest about that. It's up interpolated to 5-megapixel images, and that's pretty much standard on these watches too. Again, 1.6 inch. It claims 4G LTE connectivity. That has not been tested. And it's using the 6739 processor, which is the newer one that we're seeing, that has that ambient screen display on most watches, but not this one, because again, you need the AMOLED screen for it to be effective, and this is a different type of screen technology on this one. All right, what else is in the box? A little rubber protector. You know what's missing is the wire. I gotta go get it. This is so embarrassing. It's the wire that's really important, and that's what I want to talk to you about. But let's look at the manual since I'm already here, and we'll give you a quick look at it. Safety criteria. It's springtime here, folks. You can hear the roosters outside having a cackle. We've got the packaging, hardware. Yeah, good old time. SIM card cover, and this is what you put the nano SIM, and there's the charging instructions. Now, it looks like it's showing the watch without a band, doesn't it? Oh, I wish they were removable. That would be cool. We're going to use the Y-Watch 2 tethering app, and we all know how to use that. In fact, I've got an entire video out on that. Check the show notes for the link to download the Y-Watch 2 app and the link to the video that will demonstrate how that app works. And some of the screens that you'll see from connecting it up including where you can select additional watch faces from the app or from the watch itself. We'll look at that too. And mobile phone assistant information. Okay, and menu buttons and the power off thing. Remember that circle there, you touch that and it turns into a square, and that's how you can resize third-party apps to fit within the circle, and you can get to the corners. Really important on a screen that's only 320 by 320. You need to use that quite often. And after sales service and warranty. All right, let me get the wire for you. Okay, here we go. It's the standard 4-pin magnetically coupled watch head for the wire for plugging in using the USB to charge and data transfer to your computer. And notice how it's raised up with this kind of an oval section where the magnets are. Now that's standard, we see that on all of these, but it's really important on this particular watch because it seems to be recessed here. So when you get it the right direction and slap it in there, it's actually tucking in using that little raised section. And be aware of that so that you get it in there correctly and it falls in there. A lot of times these are just right on the surface, but this particular watch has a little cutout. You say you've seen this before? Well, you've seen something awfully similar to it, and I happen to have it right here, the Thor 4 Pro. Same kind of band, same kind of layout. Oh, this one's already on. You can see the little black section at the bottom, but this one has 2 buttons on it with the camera, and this one has 1. So they are different packaging, but they are very similar in design. So if you want to read or see more about this watch or this watch, watch the review that we've done on the Thor 4 Pro. I'll have a link down below for that as well. And continue watching if you want to see about the 360, the R360. So I'm going to press it and turn it on. As it's coming up, it says RUNDOING. This is their special watch that's branded with their logo. And if you take a look at the bezel here, we've got an interesting design. There's sort of like a cutout section where there would be a button here. And on this side too, there's 2 of them. There's no markings on the bezel. It's flat, but it does have those little indentations around the edge, whereas on the Thor 4, it's a smooth round bezel that lays right over the top. So you can see the differences. This has got a flat edge to it. This one got a little bit of a bulging section in it. They're both kind of a matte finish in black. But they are different watches. So it's on, and the first thing I want to do is handle that question you've got about me talking about the display being over edge to edge. It's a trick. Well, it's not a trick that I'm doing, but it's a trick that they're doing. All right, it's a trick I use to get you to watch the video. But anyway, here it is. Let me take you into the app I installed, the Koi Pond app, because you can really see it when you have an edge to edge kind of thing. The screen is edge to edge, and the glass covering is such that it gives the illusion, like the Samsung phones, that it wraps a little around the edge to the bezel. This particular watch, the bezel is lower than the watch itself. All the others we've seen, the bezel hunkers over, and even the edge-to-edge watches, the bezel comes over and covers the black border that we normally see on those watches. So it gives the illusion of it being edge-to-edge, when in reality, if they tuck the bezel back, it wouldn't be. You'd have the big black barrier. So in other words, you get a really thick black bezel, but edge-to-edge screen within that. This is different. You see that it's a thin bezel, and the cut of the glass over it allows it to, the light to shine through the edge. You see the fish going off. And anyway, you get the feel that it's beyond edge to edge. Now, what does it look like on? Let's slap it on here and show you that you've got, nice, it's not too terribly thick. It's got a good bright screen. It's on its lowest setting right now. But you do have that flat tire at the bottom. But if you noticed, it's not that noticeable. It almost integrates with the band. Some like it, some don't. Okay, let's give a run through on the overall app itself. It has different watch faces than you find on the Thor 4 Pro that have been installed in here. We'll look at those in a minute. But again, the basic layout for an Android 711 phone is you swipe down, you get this screen, Bluetooth connection, cellular connection, power level, date and time. Here you've got the do not disturb, it turns off your sound. This is your brightness level, and let's make it a little bit brighter and a little bit brighter still. And now I'll show you how bright that can actually be. The green is gone. It's washing out the camera on that bright of a setting. There it's back to its lowest setting, which is still plenty bright. So you have a good bright watch with this one. This is the twist your wrist to see the time, airplane mode, cellular data on and off, location services, Bluetooth and Wi-Fi, which are both turned on. We have another screen over here, which is your basic cleanup screen. Then a music player that when you're doing the music in your phone, you can play the music here and change the volume. And one more screen takes you over to weather in your area. And the name of where you are is at the top, and it shows you in both Fahrenheit and centigrade, and you can refresh it right from the screen right there. That's all the top level. Then from this level, you can swipe to the right and get your notifications. If there are any pushed from your phone that you're tethered to, you can swipe up and get your overall step count information on a monthly basis. See, it just started. Your total steps for the day, calories burned, and distance traveled on that level. And when you go to the right, you get your overall app drawer, and you go right once more, and you get your fitness section, which is the exact same thing that you get into when you actually touch fitness in the apps. Running quickly through the apps, contacts, phones, and messaging goes with the SIM card that you install, not Bluetooth connected to your phone. You've got your overall settings, and a couple of things to point out in here. In display, you notice that you do not have the always on time display option, where if the screen went black, it would display the time. Again, as I mentioned earlier, that's not available because of the screen size and type. But notice, see the B and the brightness wrapping around the screen? It's beyond the edge, folks. It really is. See that? Yeah. So it's a beyond the edge or over the edge, edge-to-edge display. Trick they're doing with the cut glass here. That's it, I think, in display. The rest of it's pretty much the same. App list style, same. Connectivity, same. Gestures is the same. This is, you can twist your wrist or you can turn on and off the pedometer. Power savings, language, date and time, reset equipment. All of these are the same as what we've seen on many of the other ones, and I'm sure we covered in the Thor 4 Pro, so if you want details of that, go over there. However, in more, you may see something different on these watches called background cleaner, which is a really strong, shuts everything off in the background when this is turned on. So if you're concerned about getting long battery life, activate this, but remember, it's going to turn everything off, so you're not going to be having apps in the background constantly testing to see if you have a push notification for something. They'll be turned off. Your fitness stuff won't be tracking properly because it'll be off, all that. But if you really are just using it for a watch or want to get extra life out of it, turn that thing on. The third-party app adapter is a brand new feature we're seeing on 711 updates to the firmware, and that allows you to see some of the things you couldn't see clearly before, like on Chrome browsers and stuff. That takes care of any problems you've got. Other than that, these are all the same as we've seen before as well. And then about the watch is where we get in to find out, if I can touch it, that we are running the R360 711. And this is all the build number and kernel version number that you can check to see if you're running the latest firmware on your watch. And then the rest of it's the same browsers. It's different kind of icons other than that we're seeing for some of these. Camera, gallery, music, sound recorder, file manager, and so forth. We've got your heart rate monitor, which, by the way, when you have this on and you're testing it, it's a single light heart rate monitor. We put that on here, and it will not only get you your heart rate, but it's going to stay active with your heart rate on the screen too. So it does continuous heart rate monitoring for you when you have this on in this mode. Plus, it's showing you your previous heart rate values that it's captured. And it seems to be pretty accurate from the limited testing that I've been able to do with it. Fitness, like I said, was the same as when we slide to the side. And one thing to comment on this, there's your outdoor run, outdoor walk. And my fingers are a little sticky, I guess. You got to slide it pretty good. So all of these are what we've seen on all of the other 711 watches. And as you know, one of the things we like to test in things like outdoor run is whether it interfaces with GPS. Now, some versions of 711 do. This happens to be one that does not. If you hit go and you don't see a screen saying, you know, waiting for GPS, and if you don't see this little icon flashing, then it means it's getting its calculation based on the pedometer. So it's when you're making your steps that, and it's not showing step count, but you see my calories went up just a little bit. It's accumulating its information from step count, which is nowhere near as accurate as if you are getting a GPS reading. So although it's there, it's a firmware interface issue, and it's not present on this watch. Will it come in a future firmware update? I don't know. It's not on the Thor 4 Pro either, so it might be a limitation of this particular style of watch. But nonetheless, and then you press and hold, finish it. There we go. Okay, and then you can delete it or save it. It does give you information about your walk or run or whatever you did. It's just a matter of whether your computation is done with GPS or not. Yeah, the weather is the same thing. The voice search Play Store, of course, interfaces with Google Play Store. The assistant is where you set up to interface with the Y-Watch 2 app. The App Store is not the Google Play Store, but it's a special app store they've got to download some of the social media applications. And then your own personal apps that you install will show up here. And that's the app drawer. So last thing to cover with this quick review for you are the watch faces, because that's one place you'll see something different than you see on other watches. And the stock watch faces look like this. Now they've really drawn them out to accentuate that over the edge, edge-to-edge screen. See that on the edges on some of these watch faces. And they've tried to do a decent job of minimizing the effect of the flat tire on the watch faces. Here's a love watch face. Haven't seen that before. And here's a deep purple watch face. And again, I'm on the lowest brightness setting. Anything brighter than this, it'll change the color for you on the camera and it won't look right. This is an odd font for showing time, but it's there. And by the way, it does do the 12-24-hour switch in the settings, just like we're used to. Battery indicator on that one. And here's another digital watch display. And here's a broad circular one. It cuts off just a little bit at the bottom that's showing the weather icon here and the time and your step count and date. Pretty much everything you need is on that one. Here's a really interesting circular one, but we're getting quite a bit of it cut at the bottom. And a couple more. I'm showing them individually because we haven't seen these. These are RUNDOING's installation. That's one of the things the companies have control over, is the watch faces that they put in for stock. Now, can it install custom faces? Why, absolutely. These are the custom faces from the recent contest we just did, the competition to win a smartwatch, which all of the watch faces right here are now available in a zip file, a zip pack, to be downloaded if you want to, and install any of them you like on any Android watch. And there's some pretty incredible watch faces. This one gets kind of cut off on this particular watch because of the flat tire, but there's some other ones. When you scroll through here, like there's one down here I really like because it's got the not only your step information, but your distance traveled and calories burned, boy, it's way down here. All of these are available. Let's see. Yeah, there we go. Okay, this one, which is a black against white, the bottom cuts off where it says sports watch, but it kind of integrates. And again, you get your step count, distance travel, calories burned, heart rate, power meter, date, time, everything. Custom watch face. Check the other videos for the winner of the Thor 4 Dual Smartwatch contest, and you'll be able to download these directly from our resource center. Okay, I think we've covered just about everything on the watch. Once again, you can pick it up through AliExpress from RUNDOING. This is their creation, the R360. It's nice to see them moving into Android watches. You've seen a few of the others of theirs that we've had here. And if you like it, yeah, pick it up. Use our show link. It'll help us out, help them out, help you out. And we'll be back with lots more. Thanks for watching.